What up? What up? Good morning, GM. Thursday, February 26th. 2026, looking at another beautiful day. To have a beautiful day. I got my co-host in the house, Tyler. Good morning. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm coming down a little bit from what was a euphoric when in the Tyler D house. We had just the green candles across the board. When we were over 69K Bitcoin, I was just on my chest. I'm like, holy shit, bears are fucked. Just like going off. We've come back to earth a little bit, but still feeling good. And happy ZachXBT Expose Day to those who celebrate.
Yeah, happy ZachXBT Expose Day. I mean, he kind of said it was going to end up being underwhelming. Maybe, yeah, right. Because he kind of said that to manage expectations, but I think the 3-day wait is what got this thing a little hyped AF. I mean, and $40 million of volume on prediction markets did not help the cause, but we'll get there. We'll get there in a minute. Obviously, we have to talk about it. That is kind of the bomb that just dropped on the timeline this morning. So we'll talk about the markets. We'll go through topics. Mando is off today and tomorrow. A little trip to take. But at the half-hour mark, so in about 25 minutes, we will be joined by Bryan Pellegrino. Primo's joining us, co-founder and CEO of Layer Zero. Really excited about that. He's a friend and also just overall really smart guy. Excited to talk about what they launched with Zero, and it's a bear market, so it's cool to get some people on, chat what they're building, and get the people to hear all about it. And then last but not least, we'll pick a winner to come on the show and make some money thanks to Yeet. Sign up using yeet.com. Use our code FOMO hour. Make sure you use our code if you want to be selected once a day. Actually, we pick a winner every day. So 5 winners per week are selected at the end of the show. And with that being said, Tyler, let's just jump right into it.
For daily NFT and crypto analysis, Tyler D on FOMO hour calls the kid can't miss.
Ready to bash the bears. Folks, crypto majors are green this morning, though down a little bit from where they were yesterday afternoon. We've got Bitcoin up 1% of the day, 67,650. Not bad. It did touch 70K yesterday, though. Big rebound rally yesterday. ETH up 3% of the day at 2,050. Solana up 1.3% at 87. Amidst all these green candles yesterday, we saw $400 million short squeeze. I think the shorts were liquidated pretty heavily yesterday. We also had Circle shorts liquidated. Oh my. Circle stock up 35% yesterday after their massive Q4 results and earnings call. Up another 8% today. Circle stock not slowing down. NVIDIA, kind of a tale of two markets here. So they posted record revenue, incredible guidance. They pumped after hours, but then the stock sold off today. So NVIDIA is actually down 3%, which I think is what's also perhaps tampering this crypto rally a bit. In more crypto headlines, the Ethereum Foundation did publish their straw map. This is their public developer roadmap, targeting 7 protocol forks through 2029. Primary features are 10K TPS, first-class privacy, post-quantum cryptography. So post-quantum private money. How about that? Like the direction for Ethereum. The Dutch government is now planning to impose a 36% tax on unrealized crypto gains. Oh, no. So we'll see if that one goes through. A UK committee is now proposing temporary ban on crypto donations in politics, citing foreign influence concerns. Kind of understand that one. And Senator Richard Blumenthal now opening a Senate inquiry into Binance over alleged $1.7 billion in transfers to Iran-linked entities, including the Houthis. So that's going to be one to watch. The Bitcoin ETFs, huge inflows, $507 million in inflows yesterday. The ETH ETFs, $157 million. So big day from the ETH ETFs. Bad day for the DApps. Maybe good, depending on your outlook here. ETHZilla is giving up on its ETH DApp model. They're pivoting to foreign markets. They're changing their ticker.
Reactors or something? What did they buy?
And they're totally ditching the Ethereum digital asset treasury. So probably a net positive for broader crypto. In token airdrop and protocol news, this was a big one out of Tether. Tether investing $200 million into online marketplace WAP at a $1.6 billion valuation. As a part of that, Tether's wallet will enable USDT payments directly on their platform. So that was a big one. Another big one, Kalshi has now fined and suspended a Mr. Beast video editor for inside trading on Mr. Beast YouTube streaming markets. There's also a California political candidate who got fined and suspended as well. So we need to talk about that. The Hyperliquid team shared that 173,000 hype will be given to the team on March 6th for the March unlock. That's $4.9 million and also less than folks had expected. So perhaps a bullish headline there. And then Goldie, GLDY, launched on Base as a new institutional grade gold-backed token with yield. Some more gold tokens hitting the markets. For memes, round this out. Memes were green, in line with majors. Gork was the top on-chain mover, but really not a whole lot of action on the day. And NFTs are mostly flat. And that's our roundup.
That's quite the roundup. Those Hyperliquid unlocks are like nothing now. Like $4.5 million of unlocks. It's like that gets absorbed in a minute.
I had to do the math real quick. I saw 173,000. Like, oh, that's $5 million. Like, okay, who cares?
Yeah, that's like DOI is like $500 million. So that's really not much. But anyways, let's go through the market a little bit. You're right. I mean, we did go all the way up to it looks like 70. Looks like $70,000 was hit yesterday. When? Like I think it was overnight. Oh, it was during the day, but that did not work out.
It didn't.
Jane Street back. Is that it? They gave us 1 day break.
Not what I wanted to see following up from this. Basically, we just shot from the bottom of the range to the top of the range and then bounced off the top of the range. I think our female quant LH said she sold in like the 68 range yesterday. So she wasn't buying a breakout here. So it looks like we might just be back squarely in the range. So not necessarily the best outcome for the bulls. Certainly the donkey on Jane Street. Now Jane Street's gone, so there's no more 10 a.m. slam. We're just free to run every day forever. We're gonna hit 1 million if we just sue Jane Street every day. One of my favorite posts. But yeah, it looks like we're gonna need a little bit more to actually break through this level. But 65 better than 62. I will say that.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's definitely better. I like that post you made. I thought that one was hilarious. Let me find it. Our new quant. If we sue Jane Street every day. Where's that post? That was great, man. Saying that they're not good. They're no longer. That's our new quant. If we sue Jane Street every single day, BTC will be at $1 million soon. What do you guys think, chat? I think that'd be great. Seemingly there was no 10 a.m. slam yesterday. I don't think there was one today. I'm not gonna lie. I think we got slammed a little before that. But it's always funny. The world hunger is because of Jane Street, and everybody Wintermute is out there trying to collect apologies. It's still Wintermute's fault though. So
yeah, Wintermute's kind of victory lap in this one. They're like, hey, it's not us. But we can. It'd be nice if we kiss the 10 a.m. slams goodbye for a while. But I think we're going to need some buyers to come in alongside.
Yeah.
Exit.
Not too many buyers out there. So Bitcoin's about 67.5. There's not much to report on that. I mean, it's still better than waking up the way we were at, I think, yesterday or the day before in the 62, 63 range. That's a good pump. I think you kind of want to maintain above this, right? That 675 price. I still kind of think we could push above 70s. Looks like there's appetite in the market for it. And you said the ETF numbers are pretty high, so that's good. The only thing with ETFs is it goes up and then
I know it's hard to get too excited. You want to for several days in a row because we had this ping pong in the ETF. You'll get a big day and then the next day it'll be equally as bad. It's like, all right, what are we actually doing? ETH actually had a pretty nice day. So ETH outperforming on the day and the week. Still underperforming on the month. So it depends on how zoomed in you are. They have had their roadmap updates, and I guess I can just kind of go into a bit.
Yeah.
So yesterday they published what they're calling the straw map, which is effectively their L1 protocol ambitions, their roadmap here through 2029. 7 hard forks are driving this. The primary North Stars of this roadmap: fast L1, gigagas L1. So that's where 10K TPS, transactions per second, via ZK EVMs are coming in. Terragas L2, post-quantum L1, arguably the biggest headline in this. And then privacy, first-class privacy via shielded ETH transfers. So it's going to be faster. It's going to be more private and post-quantum. it's a pretty good story. And I tweeted it yesterday, just, private post-quantum money has a nice ring to it, right? I think ETH has been struggling with this branding problem ever since the digital oil days. But leaning into the post-quantum and privacy, I think, is a good direction for them. And the other aspect of this, I'm not sure if people have been seeing it, but it's been a little bit buried in their updates. They are talking about how they are leveraging AI to effectively accelerate this development. So I think where their roadmap updates had taken years in the past, I think they are accomplishing them much more quickly now, and they plan to continue accomplishing them more quickly, which is very interesting as they're able to continue iterating through this. And I think there's still like the quantum overhang. I don't know if we know exactly how big that is. Certainly a real narrative out there. Saying you want to become post-quantum than actually doing it are very different situations. So if they're able to actually get there, like in the next year and a half, I mean, that feels like a pretty big deal. And the roadmap is through 2029, but it does depend on if they're able to accelerate. So that's going to be one I'm watching. And then I hadn't actually really thought about the connection. We talk about AI agents in crypto, like the integration, but we haven't really talked about how AI developments could accelerate blockchain development and roadmap development. And I am curious what that means for some of the bigger players. And actually, I want to talk to Bryan about that as well to see if are they able to iterate on their plans faster now. It's like we know, like the Claude team, AI is writing all their code because it translates to the crypto space. So I think that was a notable one, but I like I really do like the ETH setup.
It's a great update. I mean, narrative wise, and price follows narrative, especially when the market gets going. It's a good one. So they've got definitely, Tom Lee's got some new speaking notes for his next few CNBC appearances, right? But
Tom lean into this and not just give price targets. And I know he does talk about fundamentals. But yeah, let's talk post-quantum. Let's talk privacy.
Post-quantum and privacy, right? The two most important narrative that, we've seen kind of hammer Bitcoin, but also been in space right now, especially with the pump of Zach, XMR, etc. So it's been a good one. I like ETH. I mean, look, I think, like I was thinking about it, like you in a few months from now, like you're looking at yourself for buying Bitcoin in like the 5K range, and Ethereum in like the $1,900, $2,000 range, and then even Solana, which that was a big bounce yesterday, right? I think 20% of the lows. They say buy Solana sub like $80. Are you gonna be mad at yourself looking back in 6 months from now? Unless you're day trading, that's a different thing. But I don't think we have a lot of day traders listening. I don't think that's something you regret. Even hype, that went to like $26. Arguably, that's going to be like the biggest runner of the next cycle when that goes on, So these are the best coins in the bounce. I mean, what's the hype at now? I know we're kind of like selling off a little bit this morning. Yeah, like it's 28.8. Just had a chance to buy it at 25.6 actually 2 days ago.
Yeah, I don't know if folks are going to get their magical entries.
It's always like that, right? The magical entries get front run. I think everybody was calling for $18 last, and $21 was the bottom, and we ran it up to what, 38, not bad. So I have a feeling it's gonna be the same thing right now. Like everybody's begging for like a $21, $22 magical entry, and then we went to 25. Like how much lower do you want it to go? And then we'll see. But yeah, that was good to see. Bounced across the board. It appears that Jane Street is back in the order books, everyone.
Yeah,
so we'll have to
Flame is alive, folks.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to wait. I mean, our XMR yesterday, we all traded it. We were talking about it with Mando. Tat was that went up to what? 352, 350, 351 overnight, and obviously that's getting slammed with the rest of the market.
Yeah. It's back.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if there's I don't think you should get too bullish, but I also don't think you can get too bearish. Like we're already so low, right? So it is what it is.
It's kind of a weird, like from a very zoomed in, and I totally agree on your zoomed out comments. Like I think this is a great DCA zone. Like you don't need to worry about trying to catch. If you think Bitcoin might go to 55, fine. But like, are you going to be mad about a 65 entry if your targets are much higher? I don't think so.
No.
Hyper zoomed in, like this is kind of a weird range to trade, right? You kind of want to see where we go from here. Like we had a euphoric day yesterday. Not crazy surprised to see a little bit of a sell-off. Let's see where we can find a bottom perhaps and start to grind up.
Yeah. We'll see where that takes us. But that's really it on the market side. What are the news though, Tyler?
We got to talk ZachXBT, right? So
I mean, we got to go there, I guess. We talk about it every day. The bomb dropped this morning.
Is it officially a bomb? Is it like a firecracker? Did a firecracker drop?
Oh man,
we got the thread. It turns out it is Axiom Exchange, but it's one of their BD employees, Brooks Bauer, handles at Where's Brooks. Apparently, he was using information that he had access to from working at the company to user details, and was effectively able to run what would you call it, like a meme coin, like pump and dump scheme is effectively what he was able to do.
That's what it looks like, right?
Going through this. So BD employee has access to info that other folks have. He ended up working with some meme coin traders, effectively some KOLs who are, one specifically was named Marcel, a trader that Zach says poor reputation for using his followers on X and Telegram as exit liquidity, target him to buy a large portion of token supply for meme coins. And then they would work with them effectively to sell. So a pump and dump scheme. I don't even know necessarily, is there even a grand total listed in this thread? I haven't really even been able to find.
I think it was a couple $100,000, no? Or that was something else?
Yeah, I've seen like the 200K number, but I'm not even like seeing it now. Yeah, so during February 26th, Brooks outlined a plan to help profit 200K quickly. In private chats, he shared screenshots suggesting he's already been running it. So the total could be more, but there's not even like a bottom line. This is how much this expose is showing was done. So first reactions, I think it's great that Zach is doing this. Want to expose this.
So he was retained to this report. I didn't see that part.
Yeah, that's the last part of this. So someone did retain him.
I didn't see that at all. It's in the second tweet.
Yeah,
Axiom is a crypto trading platform funded by Missing Cal in 2024. After going through Y Combinator's winter 2025 batch, it quickly became one of the most profitable companies in the space, generating $390 million in revenue to date. I was retained to investigate allegations of misconduct at Axiom after receiving reports. Interesting. I didn't see that part because people was like, "Oh, he was paid to do it." I didn't know it. Interesting.
Arguably, the most interesting part of the story is who paid Zach to do the investigation.
Yeah, right.
Was it a competitor? Was it someone who had been like a victim? So I don't know that we'll ever find that out. But like this feels like, this feels like a blip for Axiom. Like I don't think Axiom's really sweating that much. Like I think you fire this guy, you talk about some new controls you're putting in place, and everyone moves on pretty quickly. Like I don't know that I look worse on Axiom now.
I've never used them, so I don't know. But I don't know. Did you see the market for it this morning? It was like only 14%, and it looks like an insider wallet managed to capitalize.
There's some yes holders, and I was looking at that. So first off, folks, $38 million in volume traded. Insane. $38 million traded on a $200,000 expose. What are we doing? Is my first reaction to this. And this is also a market where certain people knew the results and no one else did. So those are always tricky spots. But I'm looking at the top holders of Axiom. Scout had 569,000 shares. Predictor XYZ, who's been called out as a potential insider. These are just allegations. He had 477,000 shares. So yeah, Predictor XYZ put in 65K at 13 cents. 65K bet on 8-1 odds is pretty heavy. And I haven't looked through that person's betting history, predicting history.
Oh man.
But that's a pretty heavy bet for most folks on an 8-1. So perhaps they knew something.
Yeah.
But I mean, and this wasn't even the only market. Like there was $1.6 million on what hour of the day his would drop. So like we're the para markets on these things are.
So this explains why the Axiom market, the kept going up, down so aggressively. Like people were just building positions on it. Like there's a point where it was like 47%, and then it went all the way down to 6%, and then kind of like was stuck there.
It's funny, and there's probably, people lost more money on this than the victims of the expose lost. Like, people bet heavily on Meteora.
That's insane.
30 to 40%, right? There's some holders who had 80,000 shares, 50,000 shares. So they're
that is absolutely insane.
Mr. Deoks is saying, I mean, don't they get investigated? So yeah, so Zach is basically kind of raising this to the SDNY. So I think Brooks lives in New York. So jeez. I wouldn't be sleeping super well if I was Brooks.
Oh, no. Because last time we saw what happened to Nate Chastain. So
yeah.
So that's so there's that. I guess Zach did say it could be overwhelming because it got too hyped, dude. I would have just. This is the type of thread I think I could have just gotten dropped right away. You know.
I think he'll be careful about this next time.
Probably.
Again, I don't blame him. I don't think he knew it was going to blow up. He definitely didn't foresee a $40 million prediction market. I don't think he wants that to happen next time. Like, I don't think he wants people to lose. It's definitely, again, it's not his fault. But I think next time we'll just get it all in one shove.
Yeah, it was just a BD guy. They're going to fire him. They're going to be like, oh, we're going to pursue him. They're probably going to sue him themselves. Make the person or the people that were farmed whole because they have a lot of money, and then water under the bridge. It did give us some pretty funny screenshots, though. I have to bring them up. The other the employee that was betting on the no. There was some funny stuff. I have to say, like these kids, CT's always a funny ass plays. Free inside info on the timeline. That was yesterday. Axiom is not the company being referenced in ZachXBT's investigation. Axiom no shares apply market are free now. And everyone's collecting here.
And he literally has insider in his handle. Just incredible things happening.
Yeah, it's okay. Man, I love CT. Honestly, never gonna get over it. It's hilarious. Yeah.
And that wasn't the only inside trading scandal of the day. So we also got the blockbuster headline. This was on my local news yesterday in the first 15 minutes. So this one went pretty viral. So Kalshi is publishing its first ever enforcement actions, finding and suspending a Mr. Beast employee. So this is Artem Captor. He's a video editor employed by Mr. Beast. I guess his real name, James Stephen Donaldson. Captor was trading on Kalshi's YouTube streaming markets. What words will be said, what challenges contestants will complete, and other similarly predetermined content details. So he had access to these, of course, pre-release. So he had all the inside info. I think arguably the most interesting aspect of this is he wagered around $4,000. So he's inside trading with $4,000. Like, how much could he have even made? Then the outcome of this, Kalshi fines him $20,000, which I'm guessing is probably close to his winnings or however much he had on the platform, and then suspended him from the platform for 2 years. And then kind of buried in this case, but perhaps even more interesting, Kyle Langford is a 24-year-old Republican candidate in California who bet $200 on his own governor race.
What an idiot.
On Kalshi.
No, you're kidding me, dude.
And he got fined, suspended.
$200? No.
Strange. That's such a strange thing to do.
So how much did he make?
I guess I haven't seen the specific bet. He was fined $2,200, banned for 5 years. So I don't know if he hit like a 10-1. So it looks like this person also pivoted to a congressional run. So maybe he wagered $200 himself dropping out. I would have
There's no fucking way, dude.
I'm also very curious, like, how can Kalshi fine you? I guess they can only fine you for however much you have in your account, right? So that's that's where I'm thinking these totals are coming from. I'm not really sure that it makes. So, like, why is Mr. Beast fined $20,000 and the governor candidate's only fined $2,200? So, like, what's the disconnect there? But I think Kalshi is definitely gonna expect to see this headline a lot. Like, they get a ton of questions. They were grilled on CNBC Squawk Box last week about how they handle inside trading. So they're going to be, flying this one up the flagpole. So expect to see a lot of this, and perhaps a warning for inside traders. So if it does shut that down, I think net positive.
Or do it for like $200 million. I don't know.
But this just, yeah, I mean, people are coming and like, why would you face inside trading for $4,000 or $200? Just like, stop, breath, think about what you're doing.
Oh my God. Anyway, so there's that. I see Bryan is too.
Yeah.
Ty, did you have anything else you wanna touch on?
I think I mean, we can talk to other WAP tomorrow when we have a little bit more time. It's a fairly meaty headline. But yeah, I'm excited to talk to Bryan.
All right, let's get Bryan up on the stage. There he is. Bryan Pellegrino, aka Primo, co-founder and CEO of Layer Zero. Bryan, GM, how you doing today?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me here.
Thanks for coming, man. It's been a minute since we talked. How you doing?
Great. Busy times.
Tell me about it. We're busy. I'm assuming you're only busier. You got a lot of stuff. And as if you weren't busy enough with Layer Zero, you decided to launch a chain. There you have it.
Yep.
This is great. We listen, Bryan, we have a few things we want to go over with you. Obviously, congratulations on the launch, on everything you got coming up. As soon as it came out, we're like, we got to get Bryan on. But first, it would be nice if you, I know who you are, Tyler knows who you are, but if you can give our audience maybe a little refresh of who you are, what Layer Zero is, and then we'll get right into it.
Awesome. Yeah. Bryan Pellegrino, one of 3 co-founders, CEO of Layer Zero Labs. Over the last 5 years, have built out Layer Zero. Layer Zero today is largest interoperability protocol. So about $100 billion built on top of us, move a couple $100 billion across, roughly 80-ish, 85% market share, which has been like a long grind because we started from scratch. We just announced Zero, sort of upcoming blockchain in this fall. And before that, my sort of background and history is all over the place. So
I'd love to hear a little bit more about.
Yeah, sure. You guys tell me. I'll spend as much time as you guys want.
Yeah. Professional poker player, serial entrepreneur, then into crypto builders. Would love to.
Yeah. I grew up in a town of 900 people, just like a nerd with a computer. I loved competition. I loved video games. Went to school for computer science. Dropped out to play poker professionally. Played poker professionally for 8 years. Traveled the world. Did 80 countries with my wife in those 8 years. So it was super nomadic. Played the highest stakes you could possibly play. So I did that very, very competitively for a long time. 2011, online poker got banned in the United States. And so overnight, one day to another, career was gone, DOJ symbols, money's frozen, payment processors are frozen. Found Bitcoin in 2011 because that was how everybody moved money between the sites. Started my first company 2011, sold it 2013. Got into AI in 2013, which was like not cool at all at the time, and started building a bunch of machine learning models, sold them to some of the pro baseball teams, started 2 other companies, both got acquired, and then did academic research with Noam Brown, Facebook AI research. Now he's at OpenAI. Got cited by DeepMind, which was like cool as a college dropout because DeepMind was the one who got me into AI, and then started Layer Zero. So I've been like in crypto for 15-ish years, really heavily, like 2013 onwards, racks of miners in my garage, like the whole thing. Yeah.
What of the poker and the AI background, what's been more impactful on building out Layer Zero?
Poker for sure. I mean, AI is fascinating. I love it. It was super, like, I loved our research. I loved everything about it. It was like, by far, when reinforcement learning first had the inflection point, it was like the most interesting thing in the world to work on. But poker really is, there's so much about it that is helpful when you're building a company. And just for like a moment of me playing at the time, I played a lot online. So you're playing like 6 to 8 tables at a time, playing heads up, really high stakes, making a decision every like 0.3 seconds, right? And so like, every one of those 0.3 seconds, you're making a decision for tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you synthesize a bunch of information really quickly. You make the best possible decision you can make. And then oftentimes you don't even get to see what the result is, right? You just like move on, and you're conditioning yourself to not be results oriented. You're conditioning yourself to really objectively focus on what is the best possible decision that you can make in that moment in time. And the result don't worry about what happens, because repeated good decision making is going to compound over time. And that's where you're going to win. It makes you not get too married to any particular hand, any of these other things, right? So it's like everything is malleable. It is just do the most value accretive thing that you can possibly do in the moment with the information that you have. And you just do that over and over and over again. And if you're good at doing that, that will compound and like great things will happen.
It really is such an important mindset. I think that's why we see so many poker players go on to have success in other sectors. Well, congrats on that. And I want to fast forward to the future, but just before we get there, like, this is pretty notable. So I was going back through the history of Layer Zero and in your history. Layer Zero raised $120 million from A16Z and Sequoia at $3 billion during a terrible crypto winter. So like, this was the depths of the 2022-2023 bear. I'm curious, like, how are you able to pull that off? What was that process like?
Yeah, so it's really interesting. So one, I think we're the first company ever at the time to have A16Z and Sequoia co-lead, which is really actually important to us. And so leading up to it, every one of our rounds, we were really super focused on a certain thing. Our round at 50 million was like, all we wanted was the largest or second largest stakeholder of every major DeFi protocol. Nobody knew who we were at all. Like, we wanted people who were deeply ingrained into Aave and the Uniswap and the things where like you wanted to get adoption long-term. And so that round was co-led by Binance and Multicoin. And like, we really optimized for that around people who were like currently very active, large stakeholders. Once we got to the round at $1 billion, that round was crazy. We were 1.65 billion in subscriptions for $135 million rounds. You had people who wanted, $50 million checks, and you're like, I can get you like 100K. It was just like really, really insane. Which one meant we got to really pick and choose, and we got to assemble like a really incredible cap table. But we turned down a term sheet at $1.5 billion in that round to go with $1 billion to get the groups we want. So we left like $500 million on the table in valuation just to be able to get the groups that we wanted. And we told all of them, we said, listen, like, we know exactly what we're building and how to build it. We don't want any help on the technical side. What we don't know is how to build a world-class company. And like, that is what we want you for. And that's like really what we tried to optimize for, is that. And so like building that, and then that round at $1 billion led into the round at $3 billion. We got preempted a bunch and people just like wanted larger stake, and they want, we had all of this amazing momentum. And so that, that really was the conversation, but that was the thing that we were focused on is we know in order to do this and what we want to do, we really have to be able to build something world-class. And that was not something we had done before. We're technologists at heart. And like that is what we were trying to pull out of that round.
Can we double click into that? That's incredibly interesting. So it's like, what came from that? So you understood the technical piece. So like, what was the advisory on company building? Was it operations, like marketing? Like what all went into that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a mix of everything. I think when you start, and everything I had done before was really just small groups of technologists, right? And you were between 3 and 15 people, and you build something amazing, you get a bunch of traction, you sell it, you get acquired, right? And so this was like, okay, we're gonna have to do a bunch. And we made a bunch of like really non-standard, pretty hard decisions at the time. The first, we were at 25 people, we were fully remote, and we pulled everybody in for 5 months, and we just like lived like literally 7 or 8 a.m. until midnight every single day, 7 days a week for that whole time. That was us getting to launch. And at the end of that, we said, every single person, like, pack up your lives, move to Vancouver. Like, we're not going to be remote anymore. And I was like, I mean, that's like, these people have lives, they have families, and like 100% of people did it. We're still 100% in person today, which is like we get told all the time by everybody, it's so much harder for talent. How are you going to get great people? How are you going to do this? And for us, we actually we love it as an embedded litmus test in terms of like 85% of the people who work here are not from here, right? Every single one of them is from all over the world. They have packed up their lives. They have moved here, and they've chosen to do like this thing. And so like the people in the office are here to build this thing. They care about the mission. They have like made a meaningful personal sacrifice to come and build this. And so like, we really like that. Things we navigate with like some of the larger VCs, what they've helped. It is like, there's so many hard decisions. Your company is totally different. When you're at like sub 25 people, we were totally flat, non-hierarchical, like zero structure. We're never going to go past this. And then you hit like 30 plus, and you're like starting to stand up all of these departments. And before, you do everything, right? I did every single BD call, every single thing was just my co-founder and I. We did all of it. We wrote every word that went out publicly, all of it. And then you start to hire these people, and you want to hire somebody who can like grow that team, but also they're like, don't have anybody working under them. So they have to be able to like do the job, right? And like finding that intersection is really hard. And then you hit like 70, and just like like things just start breaking. And then finally you have like proper departments who are doing this stuff. And like along the way, there's a lot of like really messy decisions. People who were very, very early and had like, you know, bet their lives on this, who like have not scaled with the company or are great as an IC, but like not great at leading, right? There's like really hard decisions you have to make, how you actually get and attract talent, how you navigate a bunch of these things internally, how you think about just like landing. And still, this is another thing I think we pleasantly surprise people with is even our VCs, we get told a lot, like, you know, don't get your hopes up. All of this institutional stuff is like really long sales cycles, like, you know, 1 to 2 years. We see everybody talking to them. It's fine. And like we leading up to launch, this amazing institutional adoption, we've had an amazing reaction around it. And like some of them like moved heaven and earth to do this, right? Like we really have tried to take the baseline advice, but then like kind of ignore it. Like we want to know what the baseline is at the end of the day. That was really what I wanted. And one of the best things, one of the reasons I really love the set of VCs that we picked is like, if you're hiring for like a head of growth or for like a certain department and you don't know, I don't know what that function should look like. I've never worked in a big company in my life. I've worked in like small technological things. Like I want to talk to like the 7th employee at Stripe who like went on to lead growth for the entire thing and tell me about like the early days of how they grew and all the issues that they had. Right. And so like just having this immediate network of like, I really respect this company and the way that they've done things. And I want to talk to the person who was like transformational and making that happen. I found that to be just like a hugely beneficial resource.
Yeah, that's incredibly fascinating. I think we could probably do
crazy
show or a full hour just on that.
Jesus.
But I do want to zoom in on the next thing, or the thing that you're building right now. So
cool.
I saw you called the zero architecture moving the industry roadmap forward by at least a decade, bringing the entire global economy on chain. In my write-up, I described it as one, if not the biggest blockchain enhancement of the decade. So pretty big claims. I'd love to hear it from you firsthand. Like, what is it? Why is it so big?
Yeah. I want to start with, my goal was never to build a blockchain. We're actually very convinced that this was something we were never going to do, right? We had zero intention. And it really started kind of 2.5 years ago. My co-founder Raz, our CTO, really was getting disheartened with the space. And it really came from a lot of the early layer 2 days and Ethereum basically pushing this L2 roadmap, abandoning sharding, pushing L2s, and basically saying layer 2s inherit the security of Ethereum. And like, it's just like fun. It's just like not a true, right? That's not a true thing. And so he was complaining about this every day. And I was like, dude, like all of these layer 2s are our biggest customers. Like chill out, like take a step back. All right. Like we're like, we are the things that connect all of this. This is driving all of our volume as layer 0. And he just like kept pushing, and you know, he was right. It was like very clear that he was right in the structural side. And eventually I was just like, all right, like, well, what would you do? Right. Like, all right, just like, show me. He started a whiteboard, and we really went deep in this architecture. And naturally the way him and I would like sit in a whiteboard and just yell at each other for hours. And it's very like, you know, you're just trying to break the system, right? You have to get to ground truth, and you have to try to like think adversarially and break it. And at the end of that session, like the architecture they had drawn, I was just like, this is incredible. And really like the core insight of that was that everybody else was taking ZK, and ZK was clearly incredible technology, clearly on this sort of like trajectory for the past decade, but everybody was just looking at it through the lens of privacy. And for us, we had heard like, oh, it's going to solve trustless cross-chain communication. So like layer 0 is going to be commoditized, right? And we really started to dig, and his key insight was like, nobody was paying attention to by far the most important part, which ZK had the ability to completely remove replication from a blockchain. And so that is like, to understand what that means, if you have 1 million nodes in a network, right? If you have a network with 1 million nodes and you want to do some base, like you want all your nodes to be a MacBook or whatever, you're bound by two things, right? You can only run as much compute as that MacBook can do. I can't do stuff that a supercomputer would do. I can only do as much computation as the MacBook can do. And all 1 million nodes in the network reproduce that exact same computation, right? They all download the data. They all do everything. They run the transaction. They do the same computation. So you're paying like 1 million times inefficiency. And so his big insight was that ZK's ability, like ZK's effectively compression, has the ability to completely eliminate the entire replication factor. And so he drew out this architecture, And again, this was years ago, and started to describe it, but we didn't know anything about like ZK itself, right? Like we thought two things that were really wrong. One, we were like, okay, like sure, but who knows when ZK is going to be solved? So everyone else taking existing systems and trying to like retrofit pieces of ZK on it. For us, we were just like, assume it's solved. Who knows when, 10, 20 years, but like assume it's solved. What does the world look like? Okay, this is clearly, and we were fully convinced, this is what the world looks like. And then we thought ZK would just be off the shelf, fully commoditized. And we talked to everybody, and everybody's reaction was like, yeah, like 10 to 20 years. Like that was like the perception, right? Everyone's really focused on solving Ethereum in real time, which is like, 15 transactions per second, every like 13-second chunk. And so nobody was even close. And so really like that was the key insight at the beginning of all of it, was ZK was going to change fundamentally how replication happen in a network, and it was going to introduce like massively more bandwidth, etc. Then there's like a million things to solve along the way. So we just sort of shelved it almost for a little bit. And then our chief architect, brilliant guy, Isaac, had a baby and went on paternity leave. And like you do when you have a baby and go on paternity leave, he like invented a new database. So he just like, and so he just, he had this really key insight that everyone was building blockchains based on like 15 years ago, right? And there's a couple of things that have changed, like the commoditization of like disk itself. So one, just to step back, we work with, we connect 165 chains today, right? We have went and we've built from the ground up endpoints really, really deeply. We've found crits in almost every non-EVM that exists, but you're talking, Solana, Aptos, Sui, Starknet, Stellar, Canton, on and on and on and on, right? All of these non-EVMs, and we've sort of looked at how they scale, where their limitations are, like what are the trade-offs that they make. And physical storage is like universally almost always one of the largest constraining factors. And so perfect example of this was Aptos Chardines did this example where they got to 1 million TPS, right? And this is none of the EVM overhead. So move VM, you don't have any of the EVM mess. But to do that, they had 30 supercomputers basically co-located in a data center, and they ran this thing and they were able to do it. But actually you could only get to like 33,000 transactions per second for each node. And the reason was the physical storage layer kind of became the bottleneck. That was a trade-off. And so there's two things that Isaac really challenged, and eventually Raz and everyone else was one, do you actually need to try? And MPT, like people love, there's so much hero worship in the space that everybody just assumes you have to do everything the way that everyone else has done. The question was like, is a try actually the right structure? And the second question was like, SSDs are entirely commoditized now. So like, what if you just build like 4 SSD up and build the ideal structure there? And so built QMDB. QMDB is like 3 million updates per second, 100 times faster than the next fastest verifiable database. And even like while being verifiable, if you benchmark it to the fastest unverifiable database, which is RocksDB out of Facebook, still 6x faster, verifiable versus unverifiable, which is like crazy. So it's a really big breakthrough. This is now being rolled out in like every new performance-based blockchain is basically going to roll QMDB. It's just like clear that this is the way to do things and have a log-based database, etc. And so then that really like reignited a lot of this. And then once you have that and you're like, okay, well now you've solved this physical storage layer, what can you do? Like, what does it actually look like? And the next thing that comes is like how you actually do scheduling. And so we published this paper, FAFO, which is how you build blocks and do scheduling. In this, we showed you can actually do 1 million transactions per second with all of the EVM overhead on a single node, right? Single node, 1 million transactions per second with the EVM. And that was like really crazy at the time. And then we just like, it was just continuously, each one of these things compounded on each other and unlocked each other. And then ultimately we get to the end state, and the end state was like, oh, hey, this is like the first heterogeneous blockchain architecture ever. And now you're talking the ability to do like millions of transactions per second at 1/10,000th of a penny per transaction sort of cost to the network, and scale in a way that was just. And so then we went out and we started talking to these partners. So the partners we announced are like, this is DTCC. So DTCC is like $100 trillion worth of assets, and they do $4 quadrillion a year in volume. And then it was the Intercontinental Exchange, which is the parent company in the New York Stock Exchange, like $44 trillion worth of assets, largest stock exchange in the world. And then it was Citadel, who does 25% of all equities trading on the, like period, the biggest market maker in the world. There's like all of these groups. And what we're hearing continuously as we're having these conversations was, we didn't think this was possible, and now it is. And like that was like a huge shift. Wow. And I think that's what made everybody get pulled to this, which was really fascinating.
Are they buying in? So we saw the names, the partner lineup, jaw dropping. Right? You just went through it: Citadel, DTC, ICE,
yep.
Arc Tether. I guess what was surprising about those conversations and kind of where are they going?
One was again how fast they were willing to move. We were told years, and again, some of them like really moved heaven and earth, and they were like they've been incredible as partners leading up to this and doing everything. So there's a couple of things. I think we're going to drop some quotes today, some clips from the event, and you'll hear it for yourself. Really, really amazing in terms of what their aspirations are and what they want to do, how they're acting as partners, and all of this. And so yeah, the goal is that our goal is to build this thing, and we're very opinionated in how the world is changing, right? And like my view, which I think is becoming more and more apparent to everybody, is like very clear. I think nobody is questioning anymore. The world is going to move from 7/5 to 24/7 markets. You're going to have global permissionless markets. It's going to trade across every asset class. It's going to, all of these things are going to happen. Same thing on the payment side. You have this sort of like revolution happening. You see Tether now, $10 to $15 billion net profit of the year. It is like impossible for anybody to ignore. And so like all of these things are changing, and it's been totally different. The world from 2011 until like 2022, every one of these institutions fought tooth and nail every single step of the way. Like if they could have snapped their fingers and killed the entire industry, basically every institution in the world would, right? And now they're here, and we're like at the finish line, and we have like regulatory environment has changed. There's like all of this positive sort of tailwind, all of this amazing stuff. And there's so much demand, and we still have systems that can only service like a tiny of the demand. And the response from everybody has been like, we're going to make all of these last mile compromises that are largely centralizing to try to like service this massive influx in demand. And like, that sucks. That like kills the whole, like they're only here, not because they want to, they're here because the technology has like forced them to be here. Like it has just like permissionless open systems are just better, right? It's become inevitable. And now we're like making these last mile compromises. And so like the goal that we set out to do, our original goal actually was like, it was more of a theoretical. Can you make a system as fast as Solana and as decentralized as Ethereum? That was it. That was a simple question we were trying to answer, right? Are these truly divergent paths? Yeah. And what we landed on is you can make a system as decentralized as Ethereum that does millions of transactions, that is like thousands of times faster than Solana, right? And so like the end state really is like, how do you accelerate this transition? You see the world is moving, and how do you build a system that can be like neutral, broadly decentralized in services at scale?
It really is incredible. There's a massive vision in the fact that you're able to pull it off. I am curious. So the biggest players in the world are at the table now. You said in 2022, like they wanted to kill everything. Is it just the tech? Is it a combination of the tech and like, without going too political, like changes in the regulatory environment? Like what, in your view, like why is it different now than it was?
I view there really being only two driving factors in most things in life, but certainly on the instant, I just spent a huge amount of time talking to the vast majority of the largest financial institutions in the world. We're doing a lot of this as a team, right? There's two real things that motivate people. One, I think crypto finally hit like real product market fit, where you're like, listen, like Hyperliquid and Tether make more dollars per employee than any other company on the planet. Period, right? Like that alone is very hard to look away from. Stable coins, 300 billion and like rapidly growing, like all of these things are just happening. Hyperliquid does more volume per day than like, a lot like the Robinhoods of the world. Like these things are changing. Where like permissionless is like inevitable at this point. It's just so very clear that permissionless is winning at scale. So one is that. And two, none of them were allowed to really be interested. And now like that's been lifted, right? And so now they're able to. And so the two things that I think drive most groups are, one, unquestionably, is a fear of disruption, naturally, right? It is like the world may be changing. And if all of the world's markets live on chain, like what does my business look like, right? And I think that's like very natural in terms of like, I think jobs and many others are great. Is like, you have to be willing to disrupt yourself in order to like, otherwise somebody else is going to do it, right? And I think a lot of them, there is this fear of disruption, changing landscape. and they're being willing, we're like forward thinking about like, well, maybe we just be the ones to disrupt ourselves and own this. Another is in that same fear of disruption is like, maybe you're 7th at something, but the world is changing and you have the opportunity to be first, right? And it's like a land grab, right? And the third is just like pure P&L. And this is, there are like merchant banks and there are others are really large financial institutions, but all they view it on, they view it as a channel of distribution. They view it as all their constituents and customers want to like move assets and get AUM and do this. And like, this is just a means to an end. This is a piece of technology. They can, give that to their customers because their customers are asking for it, and then they can profit in behalf of it, right? So right now, I think there's really only like those two levers, and those two things, I think, again, in most situations, like almost everything boils down kind of to those two levers, and like those are the driving forces right now. Those are people are serious, much more serious. I talk a lot about one thing I think we did great as Layer Zero. Early on, you gotta understand that the environment was like insane. We're a hyper competitive landscape, and people are like paying people tens of millions of dollars to build on top of them. And like all of this crazy stuff, everyone just cared about like marketing. I remember we had this huge battle around Uniswap governance, and it was like crazy. And at the end of it, I was like, what are we even doing? Like, if we win this, it sends one message ever. It's just like turn on the fee switch, one message ever, right? It does like zero for the bottom line of the underlying protocol or the business or anything, right? And so like that itself, we tried then, like it was a huge flip of just like the only thing we care. I don't care about a marketing announcement. I don't care. You can just live in POC hell forever. I want to find the people who are doing like something real, and I want to find a way to like meaningfully make their business better. And like Tether has been a great example. We built the Tron Ethereum pathway, and then USDT Zero was like you guys already have $185 billion on all of these chains. We're here with us and the Everdon team sort of proposing this. We're like, let's just see what happens, right? Like bring it to all these others, USDT Zero, and just like see what happens. And like fast forward 9 months, it's moved $70 billion. And like at one point in time, it grown AUM by like $10 billion, which is like $400 million in the bottom line. It's like, oh, like this stuff actually matters, right? And that's been like a really strong use case for distribution to others. So when you talk, USDT Zero, when you talk Athena, EtherFi, we invented and built native sync pools to allow native L2 restaking. Like it was just find the partners who really want to build something and go really deep with them. And I think that's the same thing now is like, there are a million institutions who are like, it's so great. I'm so curious. Like I would love to follow along. And it's like, fine. Like that's an okay stance to have, but we shouldn't be spending all of our cycles trying to like tell them what they should be doing, right? There are a couple of groups who know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly where it fits into their business. And like our job is to accelerate that forward and like find a way to make that like stick, make it land. And that's where our time is being spent on the institutional side.
And now you've proven in so many ways that you can do it. I want to talk a little bit about acceleration and the world rapidly changing in your words. So I think it's been notable that the Ethereum Foundation lately in some of their posts have been kind of alluding to using AI coding to speed up their development. I'm curious how you've seen that play out inside your own shop. Is it making your timelines compressed?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Headaches come along with it.
In a little bit less intuitive than I thought, and it is in some ways, but I thought, great, we're going to have this, and it's going to like bring up the floor of everybody 50%, right? All equally across all of your developers, you'll raise by about 50%. And what we found is like, it helps everybody, but our best, it's been like a 1,000x full. Again, our chief architect, one of the things like ZK is like really obscure sort of prosaic math and is like, he was like, listen, for me to become like really, really good at this, it would take me 2 to 3 years under like the leading mathematician to do this, right? And like in a couple of months of just pure obsession and AI, he found like 6 errors in a 90-page math theorem. And he is now like incredible, right? Like at the forefront, has brought in all of these other amazing, brilliant people. Like it has taken our best people and the people who are like sort of people say highest agency all the time and just infinitely magnified them, which is that has been the craziest thing to me is it has actually had a much larger effect on our best engineers and our best researchers versus our median engineer. And I thought it would be the other way around. I actually thought they would be the ones who would get the sort of the least out of it in the near term.
Very interesting. I'm curious, earlier on, you mentioned a few years back, some of the team members perhaps disheartened with the space. I think we've certainly seen a trend, kind of broader state of the crypto market. A lot of builders disheartened with the space or just packing up and leaving. What is that, measure? What's that morale look like right now? Are people re-enheartened? Is the project reinvigorating folks? But what's also the kind of broader view of the?
Yeah, I mean, internally. So Rez and Ryan summed it up. He summed up really amazing. I think when we gave our event on Feb 10th, he said, "Listen, ultimately, we sort of believed these principles and these things that we cared about would just win on their own merit, right? And they didn't, right? It's again, people started compromising, you realize that if other people, if the world, if it's just not going to happen on its own, you sort of have this moral obligation to do this thing, take this thing that you believe in and drive it forward." So internally, people always ask, because we launched into some crazy times. We launched TGE into this bear market. We launched all these things. And most people don't care. Again, people are here more for the mission than anything else. The amount of time I hear a lot of people where token prices is one way and turnover happens. I give up, every 3 to 6 months, I give up and I stand up and I give a speech at all hands, which effectively listen, token price is up 5x. You are not 5x smarter or better, right? It's down 5x. You're not 5x dumber or worse. We care about the Benjamin Graham model of the world. We are after the weighing machine, not the polling machine. And the only way to affect that is to build something of real and durable value. You must create something of real utility. And that is the thing that we are setting, that is the thing that we've set out to do. Right. And so internally, I think that is really the catalyzing view. People really care. And I still don't think most people understand the full ambitions of really what we're trying to do, but they really, really care. And we all really, really care internally. And that matters more than anything else. And so, yeah, I think people are, Ryan wrote this noble lie piece and all this stuff on sort of where we feel the space had gone astray in the past. But we don't want to spend very much time. And part of the benefit of being in Vancouver is Vancouver's just boring, man. It's a pretty sleepy place. You're not we are sort of blinders on. We don't really care what anyone else is doing. This is the thing that we are doing. And this is the vision that we have. And we will just live and die by that. The rest doesn't really matter to us.
I love it. Dude.
It's refreshing to hear. And anyone listening, you can clearly hear your passion.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I know we're out of time, Bryan. Maybe last question. You look back 5 years as 2030 and zero chain successful. What will have happened?
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. Listen, we are not taking, it's so funny because we started when we launched Layer Zero, nobody knew who we were. Nothing. I was some random college dropout poker player. We're from New Hampshire. Nobody had ever heard of us, knew nothing. We just put in the time and worked with it, but showed that we were serious about what we're doing. And we were amazing partners. We just ground our way up. And it was the same thing when we started on the institutional side. I told the team, I'm we might have 85% market share here. We have 0% market share there. And they don't care, right? They don't care that this random crypto protocol uses you. It's time to start from square one and do the same thing, build the relationships, exhibit the, demonstrate value and build the thing. So we're under no illusion that you just launch great new tech and win, right? And actually the current state of the world of what is existing in crypto doesn't need 1 million transactions per second. It is on us to you have to build the whole thing. So when we built Layer Zero, one of the things we did is we built Stargate alongside of it. And Stargate now is on $100+ billion of volume. Is you have to show people what this can actually be used for. And you have to create your own demand early on and make it so much easier for people to integrate. We are very we are not just going to launch here's a thing, hope people use it, right? We are very, very, very focused. Yeah, very focused on just you have to get that moment right. I think again, it's on us to do, and we're fine. We're fully embracing that, but the goal is not just this naive, let's launch it and let's see what happens. We got to generate the on demand. We have to be the one. Yeah. We view it as we must accelerate that transition. We have to bring the rest of the world on. We have to make the institutionals come, and we have to put ideally as much of the world as we can on this neutral layer of rails.
Well, clearly you guys you're out there doing it. You're hitting the pavement. So hats off to you. Thanks for coming on, Bryan. This has been fantastic.
Oh yeah, dude.
Thank you guys for having me.
Excited to see the development in a few months. Like so many chains launched, and it's just like ghost chains after like a month because all they did was like incentivize you with the token farm, and then there's nothing going on.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see what you guys do to bring the people on chain, and then come back and talk about it.
Come this fall. Happy to do it.
Come this fall. Ooh, we got a little snippet. I love it. So we'll have you again in the fall. I love that. Bryan, appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming. That was really inspiring, honestly. Appreciate that.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much.
Here you go. Ciao. Yeah, this is great. See this? People out there thinking crypto's all about this fucking trading and prices and this and that. Then, you know, give Bryan and a bunch of other founders like him.
The real visionaries, yeah.
What do you think of the zero token here? I don't want to talk about it with Bryan on because it's useless. Clearly, they're building other stuff. And what are we going to ask him? Oh, what do you think about your token? What you going to do with it? Right? It's like, I think that would have been a terrible question to ask.
Yeah.
What do you think? I mean,
yeah. I'm happy to bet on people in this space.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the near-term price action is going to look like, but
he said, come this fall, there's going to be some stuff going on.
The vision's big.
The vision's fun. I mean, this feels like one of those altcoins that like you kind of like accumulate over a bear market and then see if it's like if everything sticks and everything they're talking about, you know, then
I think it'd be the best trades on the board on a long time horizon.
Right? 465 million market cap. What's unlocked market cap? Is that FDV? Is that what they mean? No, FDV is 1.5 billion. Yeah, it's not. It's actually not, you know.
No, there's unlocks happening across the rest of this year and for a while. Yeah. So that in, but you know.
It feels like one of those that you can probably accumulate over a very long period of time, and in a year from now, you're like, okay, this worked out or didn't. But I like Bryan.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Someone I would bet on any day. With that being said, should we give some money away?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let it do it. These are Farouk's favorite kind of guests, right? Yeah, dude. I mean, I love this shit. I'm talking to. I mean, he's actually a friend of mine as well. Like, I just like him. He's just a smart guy. He's big supporter of the ecosystem too. Like, he invests in a lot of companies. Someone said, though, I have to say, top comment goes to the guy who said, Bryan, he's the inventor of the sparkling water. San Pellegrino. That one had me cracking up mid-show. Jesus Christ. All right, let's you guys fucking let's go. Who is it? Who is it? I missed it. Other oath.
Yeah.
Other oath.
That guy.
A red guy. And you want a red guy. Yep. All right, man, that guy's such a big brain. Like, I gotta.
What? You want to play Lamb Chop? You want to play some Omaha? What do you want? We had a poker player on. Should we play Omaha?
Let's play Omaha. We just had a professional poker player on.
Yeah, highest stakes.
Speaking of poker players, tomorrow we're gonna have to like unfold the drama between Hasib and his co-founder.
Yeah, that's Good Friday combo.
That's a Good Friday conversation, dude. He said, "What are we playing today, boys?" I think we should play Omaha for the sake of time, but also because we had Bryan on.
Yeah, in Bryan's honor.
What do you think, Under Oath?
Good with it. He says I'm good.
He says good with it. I didn't see. Oh, he did say that. All right. Also, the last Omaha run was so bad, like we're due, you know?
A double here. I don't want to get your hopes up, but
let's go. I feel good about it. Okay, 2 pair. Ooh, aces and fours. That's a strong 2 pair.
Oh, full house 4. Give us that 4.
Oh shit, 4 or 10?
Yeah, 4.
Hey. Oh, 8x. Dude, did they switch it? That was 7.5x back then.
Oh wow.
It became 8x? Or am I?
Yeah, I think maybe.
Banger.
All right, 592 win. There you go.
Yeah, dude. Remember that you now have to claim $100 every single day on the platform, guys, when you win. All right. When we get Mando on, we're going to ask him why. But he's our overlord, and we love yeet.com, and they give money for free. So
let's win.
Come with your money.
Back one more time for Under.
Oh, he's got nothing.
Very beatable.
Pair of sixes. So we both have that. So he's got a king high. Wait, he didn't get a flush? Wait, yes? Is that a flush? Oh, you can't use 3 cards. You got to use 2 cards.
You can use 2.
Oh, we're going to cook his ass. Oh! And we win the 1 card. Let's fucking go.
Huge. So you're
2
plus buck?
592 plus $500. You won 1534. Let's go. Congratulations. Damn. That's nice.
Oh.
Dude, that's a good hit. That's a very, very, very good hit. With that being said, we'll see y'all tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go.